Hey, Kevin here, top one financial advisor and best-selling author, and we are here to talk about the stock market. Today, I wanted to talk about a little bit of news behind Apple, and this is a story that it hit the front radar for me, but most people are talking about some other stuff about Apple. I'm like, y'all are missing the big point. And the point is, Apple is, or announced rather, they're working with a few states to allow you to take your driver's license and add it into your Apple Wallet, which is interesting. So there are some privacy concerns. I won't get too deep into that. I think we can all imagine the downsides of that, but also it's the convenience side of it that a lot of people are going to go for. But Apple is really smart in this strategy, and that's what I'm most interested in, because for Apple, this is a huge win, because the Apple Wallet is a place that they can continue to grow. The interesting thing here too is that 10% of all transactions worldwide, if I'm not mistaken, are on Apple Pay. That's 10% now, and they get a tiny slice of every time that you pay for something with your Apple Wallet, which again comes down to convenience. I forgot my wallet at times. I went to go get Chinese food the other day, forgot my wallet. And I was like, dang, they don't take Apple Pay. I had to come back home, get it, and come back. So if you are, let's say, a Florida or an Oklahoma, I'll say Oklahoma because I know that they're on the list of states that are doing this or looking to do this, is that if I have to have if not that I have to, but if I opt to have my driver's license on there, I am more willing to put my credit card on there. I'm more willing to put a debit card on there, and I'm likely to take it more. But also, stores who are not currently taking Apple Pay are likely to take it in the future, because look, everybody in my entire state now is using this phone for their ID and their credit card. I might as well have this too, so people can make those payments. So that's the thing. It's the penetration strategy. It's the fact that they have yet another space to grow. And when it comes to companies like Google, like Apple, especially like an Amazon, a lot of people say, well, I think it's overvalued. I don't know where they're going to grow. They're already too big. What are they going to do next? Well, this is a place for Apple to grow. Apple is up about 23.6% the last time I checked. For the last 6 months, about 18% over the last year. Over last year's not the most stellar numbers. We've seen a lot better, but in 6 months, that's not bad. I'm a long-term investor in Apple. I'm not going anywhere. If you have it, I wouldn't expect you to go anywhere either. Now, if you're asking, if you're not holding Apple and you're wondering whether or not you should, my answer is yes. My answer is DCA, hold it for long term. It's going to be around because it's not the only thing that they do. The great thing about Apple and their strategy, most people are going to go to their branding, that the brand makes me feel good, and I just get into their thing, and that's just what they do. Or the most innovative products, and they have the best X, Y, and Z. They actually don't, if you want to be unbiased. But the best thing that Apple does is create an ecosystem in which all of your things work together almost seamlessly, and they make it really, really, really convenient. And their product design is almost genius. The reason why I say that is because it's super simple. When they created the first iPhone, they wanted to make sure that a child in the middle of Africa that didn't have any technology could use an iPhone and actually unlock it. That's how this stuff started, and that's the level of product design they go through. You can throw your grandma an iPhone; she knows how to use it. Now, I'm more of an Android person. I just switched over to Apple, and I mean it's a little easier. You know, we can get into picture quality and all kind of stuff, but I don't want to start a debate right now today. But anyway, when you have Apple, whether it's your Apple to your Mac, whether it's to the wallet and Apple TV and all kind of stuff, all this stuff syncs together really, really well, a little bit better than what a Google does with their home devices, even though it still works pretty well too. The thing about Apple is they make it difficult once you're in to switch out. And that's the thing. Now that I have blue text messages with my friend groups, and almost all have Apple, I don't want to go to green anymore. Now that I cannot use my Microsoft tablet to send text, now I have to look into a Mac. Now, I'm not getting a Mac because that's too expensive to make that switch when I don't actually need a computer. So that's separate, but that's just me. I'm also investing, just dropped my phone. I also invest in Microsoft, so I'm incentivized to just keep the Surface Pro that I have because I really like it. But aside from that, it's an interesting move. I'm curious to see how many states will continue to go into this. I'm also a little concerned on the security side. We know this for a fact. If you ask any IT professional, the majority of them will tell you that Apple is the most secure device as opposed to Android or any of the other devices that are out there. I haven't heard of any Apple hacks. It doesn't mean that it's not capable or possible in the future. But now there's a fear of, if I use my license on my Apple Wallet, Well, if I get hacked, now you got my real information, right? I'm fine with losing my credit card information because we know that the privacy rules, or not the privacy rules, the fraud rules and fraud protections on credit cards are way higher than it is on a debit card. So I'm more than willing to put my credit card on Apple Pay. You hack it, I file a claim, I'm scot-free, I'm good. I'm not really worried about that. But you get my driver's license information, can't really just grab that back so easily. Same thing with a debit card. You take that money out, you're going to be in a fight with the bank on whether or not you get that back. So these are just concerns. Again, I'm not an IT expert, so I'm not really going to go into the possibility and the encryption and all that type of stuff. I'll save that for the IT security people. But again, Apple, strategy-wise, this is really, really interesting because, again, if you're allowing an entire state and say, look, you can get your license, and TSA, the Transition Security Administration, they're working with them too, so you can just either show your phone or do something that they're working on to get you through pre-check, get you to check in with your flight and get on and flying whenever people start to really fly again. So super interesting on how they're doing this. They're leading the front in some ways in this space, and again, they're creating that ecosystem, which makes it really easy to go from device to device within the Apple ecosystem and keep you sticking around. Because again, when they release a new iPhone, they release a new Mac, and you already got one, you're gonna go to the next one and next one and next one, and you're in their cycle. And when you're in their cycle, they make more money. So imagine, I already got an iPhone 12 mini, so in 2 years, when they have the 12, so probably the 14, probably gonna get that. That's recurring revenue. I'm probably not gonna go anywhere, okay? So every 2 years, they're gonna get a new iPhone from me. Every time I swipe using my Apple Pay, they're gonna get a cut from that. Anytime I'm buying an app, sometimes they're gonna get money from that as well. So all these ways, these are all the ways that Apple gets paid that most people don't always think about. So when you go and study any of these companies, you always want to take a look at, these are the physical products that I see every day, right? I see iPhones, I see the physical products. I'm not always thinking about, what about these other revenue streams that they're making money from that's continuing to grow and that may still be an opportunity and a value to me as an investor. So you do want to look into those things. So those are my thoughts and ramblings on a Friday. I feel like I'm just spitting a whole bunch of stuff out at you about Apple. Again, super interesting. We're probably going to talk about it more on the Flavor podcast. You can check that out on all podcast apps, Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts. I'm a Spotify person, and all those things. So feel free to check out our more in-depth discussion with Andre, the Millennials Next Door, and myself on Monday, which was the holiday, and just let me know what you guys think in the comments about Apple as a whole as a company and about this particular ID innovation and what they could be doing here in the future. More announcements and more information to come. But I'm telling you first, you heard it here first. So these are my first reactions from the little bit of information that we have. All right, so before we finish today, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit anything that's in the description below, including the book, From Burning the Blueprint, Rebuilding Black Wall Street After a Century of Silence. I have a lot of great information, not only about the Tulsa Race Massacre and the history and what it was like for me growing up there and learning about the history of Black Wall Street, but also about building generational wealth and investing in a way that actually makes sense. All right, I've been rambling. That's enough for me. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.